So back to the story. After murdering his brother, Qabil did not dare to face his father. So he left with his wife to live in the plains. Adam and the first human community used to live on the mountains. Now he left this community to live alone and start his own community far away from his father and his brothers and sisters and their descendants. Qabil, the eldest son, Cain, and his wife started to reproduce, and they had their own children, and they had their own offsprings and great grandchildren, and soon they became their own community. Because they were away from their prophet Adam and his teachings, and because they started by a sin, killing his own brother, this community gradually became engrossed in sin and wrongdoings, deviation away from the religion of Allah, from God. And they were away from the preachings and the practices of Adam, who told them, his people, whenever something happened, what to do, what is the law of God. Now they started to, Qabil and his own children and community started to invent their own laws. Meanwhile, Adam, who discovered that his son was killed, his son Abel was killed, he and his wife Hawa, Eve, missed Habil so much. He was a very good son, very gentle. And so they started to pray to God for another son, just like him. And their prayers were answered. And Hawa gave a birth to Sheath. Now, Sheath means the good blessings, because he was an answer to a prayer, and he was blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he was chosen by Allah to become the next prophet after Adam. So Adam taught Sheath as much as he can. Adam's knowledge is huge. I mean, God taught him the names of everything. He taught him the origin of all industries, everything. And he's trying to teach his people everything. So he started to teach Sheath the knowledge, not only of this earth, but what he has seen in paradise and the heavens, the details of that. And Sheath learned as much as he can, and he became a very good leader of his people. When the time for Adam came to die, now the angels descended from heavens and took a human form to show Sheath and his brothers and sisters and the descendants of Adam what to do to their dead ones. Meanwhile, Adam, these angels came down away from Adam and started to walk as humans towards Adam. Meanwhile, Adam, who lived for about 1,000 years, exactly 960 years, he was sick, and he said to his children, I wish I could eat from the fruits of heaven. Now the fruits of paradise, the fruits of heaven, they are similar, they look similar to what we have on this earth. Apples, pomegranates, grapes, and so on. So he said, I want to eat some of these. They were not found in his area. So they said, we will bring it to you. So his sons left in search of these fruits that he described for them. When they left, in the way, just as soon as they left, in the way they met the angels who were taking the human shapes. And the angels were having shrouds, certain cloth and items required to prepare the dead for burial. And they asked the children of Adam, "Oh, children of Adam, what do you want? What do you seek?" And they said, "Our father is sick and he longs for the fruits from paradise. The angels, appearing as human beings, told them to return to their father because he's going to die. And there is no time for him, for you to go and get him food and come back. It will be too late. So they returned with them. They knew from Adam about angels and how the angels are able to take different shapes. So they realized these are not their brothers, they are not their sisters. These are different things. Although they are taking human shapes, but they are not humans. So they realized that they're talking to angels. So they went back. Now Eve, Hawa, when she saw that her children are coming back with humans that she does not know, and these are not her children, she knew that these are angels coming in human forms. And she knew what they wanted. She knew that one day they will die. So she covered Adam. She wanted to prevent them from taking Adam, her love. But Adam, who understood also what was going on, told her, let them do what they have to do. Do not interfere. One day my time has to come. The angel of death came to Adam and took Adam's soul. The angels in human forms washed him, covered him with the shrouds, and prayed for him, and then buried him. And from that, humans learned what to do when they have a dead person. See, they did not know what happened to Abel. They did not know how he was killed or how he was buried. Now they know what to do with the dead ones. And the angel said to them, O children of Adam, this is the sunnah, this is the tradition for you and for those who should come after you. Wash them, cover them, and bury them, and pray for them. So now, see, in the beginning, everything is taught to humans what to do directly by God, through the messengers of God. So Adam, peace be upon him, died after a life full of obedience to Allah. He never disobeyed Allah except for that one time when he tasted the fruits of the forbidden tree in paradise. He never after that disobeyed Allah in any way. For 960 years that he lived on earth, he lived a life of piety and obedience. He was an example and model for humans. 1 year after Adam's death, Eve, Hawa, also died. And Sheeth took over as the head of humans and also their prophet, succeeding his father. Although he was not mentioned by name in the Quran, but Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us about Sheeth in many sayings, and he told us that he was a just leader, a great prophet, and he was given 50 scriptures from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 50 books. The Bible, the Torah, the Quran are books of God, and Sheeth had 50 books. Why so many? Because see, humanity just started and they needed laws to organize their life and establish justice among them and make them live in peace and guide them towards Allah and make them understand what awaits them in the day of judgment. So Sheeth, one of the greatest prophets who ever lived. Now, by this time, as we said, Adam's descendants had been split into two clans, two groups. The descendants of Qabil, the first man who committed a murder, who killed his brother, who ran away to live on the plains. And the other group was the bigger group, the major group, and these are the believers, the good people who remained with Adam in the mountains, on the hills. However, they did not follow they did not commit any sin. They were not affected by Qabil in any way. Among the people of Qabil, chaos, crimes became widespread. They started to fight among each other. They started to harass each other. And they sometimes would kill any person who would pass by them from the children of Adam and his descendants. And wars eventually broke out between Qabil's group and Sheeth's group. And killings became widespread. Many innocent people were murdered. And Adam's descendants saw a period of turmoil and upheaval and instability. Also, something else happened, as narrated to us by Ibn Abbas, the great scholar of Islam. He said, the people who lived in the mountains, the righteous people, the men were handsome, but the women were not good looking. While the group with Qabil on the plains, the followers of Qabil, the descendants of Qabil, was the opposite, where the men were not handsome, while their women were very beautiful. And Satan used this as his chance to lure the people, the righteous people. The way he did it, as explained by Ibn Abbas, is that Satan, who also had the ability to take forms, took a form of a young man and went and lived among Qabil's descendants on the plains and worked for one of them, and he started to teach them about singing and music and wine, and he started to teach them these things. And he took a horn and started to produce melodies, very beautiful melodies, that people started to gather around him, and he started to show them how to dance and drink wine, and that's how it started. So the people from the mountains soon came to hear these sounds that they have never heard before. And some of them became very curious. And it's very clear that many times curiosity is what lures people into sins. I want to know, I want to see. I'm not going to do anything, I just want to be there. I'm not going to drink wine, I'll just sit with my friends who drink wine. I'm not going to commit adultery, I'll just be with them. But with time, people start to deviate. So deviation starts very small, and then with time becomes like an angle, becomes huge after a while. So they had never heard anything like these musics before. And Satan taught them how to have a festival once a year where they celebrate. They don't work anymore, they just celebrate. And women would dress up and look very attractive and do every sin that is possible. And the people of the mountain on the day of that festival felt that there's something strange going on. And out of curiosity, some of them went down and started to look at what's going on. And so they saw this going on, this festival, and they saw this very beautiful woman that they have never seen before. And they started to tell each other about what's going on, about this beautiful woman. And some of them started to sneak into the plains. Now, Prophet Sheeth had already given a law prohibiting the people from the mountains from associating and mingling and being with those from the plains. It is forbidden in their law to be with them. Leave aside marrying among them or being part of them. It's a sin just to be among them. But with this curiosity and luring by Satan, many people from the mountains started to mix and disobey the law of Sheeth. They started to mix with the people from the plains. And the news about the beauty of the woman from the plains spread, and more men from the mountains came down to the plains to see for themselves the beauty of these women, and then started to share with them in their festivals, and then started to share with them in their sins. And soon the men and women who are now freely mixed started to commit adultery, no marriage. According to Ibn Abbas, he describes this when he is explaining the verse in the Quran, and make not a dazzling display. This is in the Quran. And make not a dazzling display like that of the times of ignorance. The times of ignorance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to the time of Qabil. And dazzling display was what the woman of the descendants of Qabil would do. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is directing the Muslim woman, don't be like them. Don't display your beauty. Be covered and be respected. Now, Sheath tried his best to restore order and ensure that Allah's commands against committing adultery and other sins were observed. But Satan had successfully tempted the men from the mountains with the beauty of the woman, and from the woman of the plains, and morality rapidly deteriorated, and adultery and killing and sins became widespread. Now the population from the mountains started to decrease, while the people from the plains started to increase. And with time, the good doers became the minority, and wrongdoers and sinners became the majority. This situation remained, and Sheath died, and a new prophet was chosen among the people of Sheath, and his name was Idris, who was a descendant from the prophet Sheath. He was the son of Yarith, the son of Mihla'il, and the son of Qaynan, who was the son of Anosh, and who was the son of Sheath. So Idris, who was born while Adam was still alive, is the fifth generation of Sheath. And Idris, who lived for 126 years before Adam died, lived close to 1,000 years. 126 years at the time of Adam, while Adam was alive, and the rest of the 1,000 years were after Adam died. And he managed to see his next 6 generations before he died. After Sheath died, Idris took over as the new messenger, and he became the third prophet after Adam and Sheath. The story of Idris and what did he do towards the sinners of Qabil's descendants is our next episode, inshallah. Jazakum Allah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.